I'd like to call the special meeting of the Governing Board of the Lammersville Unified School District to order at 6:30 p.m. This meeting is being recorded and live streamed, so we'd ask that you silence or turn off your cell phones at this time. We will start with the Pledge of Allegiance, and I will lead us in that. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Item 3, roll call.
Lisa Boulay.
Here.
Colin Clements.
Absent.
Vanita Daniel.
Here.
Stephanie Olson.
Here.
David Pombo.
Here.
Devika Vitulani.
Absent.
Item 4, approval and or corrections to the agenda.
There are none.
Move to approve the agenda.
Second.
On a motion by Trustee Boulay, seconded by Trustee Pombo. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? The motion passes with 4 ayes, no noes, and 1 absent. Item 5, receiving of public comments. I do not have blue comment cards, and I do not see any members of the audience who wish to make a public comment. So we will forego reading of the policy on public comments and move on to item 6, action items. Item A, consider approval to adjourn from regular session and open the public hearing for input on item 1, 2024 Local Control Accountability Plan, LCAP, annual update for 2023-2024. Item 2, 2024 through 2027 Local Control Accountability Plan. And item 3, 2024-2025 budget, including a review of reserves and compliance with EC, which is Ed Code 42127A to B.
So moved.
Second.
Okay, so we are in public hearing. And we will go to item 1, staff report.
Yeah, so we're going to have Assistant Superintendent Sharp give a presentation on the LCAP.
Good evening, President Olson, trustees, Dr. Nicholas. Thank you for having me this evening. So here's a review this evening on our local control accountability plan as we are getting ready to roll out our first year of a 3-year plan. So as I stated, the local control accountability plan goes over 3 years. We are now getting ready to implement our first year of that new cycle. The LCAP focuses on 3 different distinct areas that are decided by the state. And those are conditions of learning, engagement, and student outcomes. So within those 3 areas, there's 8 priorities. They're basic services, state standards, parental involvement, pupil achievement, pupil engagement, school climate, course access, and other pupil outcomes. And as I go over our 3 goals this evening, you will see that the goals will identify specific areas within these 8 priorities that we need to cover in our goals. So looking at our 3 goals, again, they're staying the same over the next 3-year period. We have the systematic closure of the opportunity gaps as goal 1, instruction and curriculum efficacy for goal 2, and 21st century outcomes stakeholder communication for goal 3. In goal 1, systematic closure of the opportunity gaps, Lammersville Unified School District will graduate all of our students college and career ready with the skills of communication, citizenship, critical thinking, and collaboration and creativity, all within a district-wide one-to-one learning environment. And you can see below the priorities covered under goal 1 are priority 1, 4, 5, 7, and 8. And in order to meet our goal, there's identified actions that the school district undertakes. And examples of these are our student progress monitoring through assessments, our comprehensive high school experience, Common Core standards and content, career and technical education, English learner progress, strategic support, and the additional support for our English learners, foster, and low-income students. In order to determine effectiveness of our actions, we have particular called metrics that we use to measure the effectiveness. And examples of these are having access to standard aligned instructional materials, evidence of English language development in the classrooms, student proficiency through evaluations such as CASP, MAP, and local assessments, increasing students with GPA of 3.0 or higher, decreasing DNF grades, U to C, UC A to G completion, and so forth. Goal 2 stays the same as well, instruction and curriculum efficacy, where we have instructional leadership and teaching excellence in all classrooms, all while utilizing research-validated practices district-wide. For Goal 2, we are addressing priorities 1, 2, and 6. Actions that are underneath Goal 2 are providing professional development for staff, effective instructional practices, a focus on student and staff wellness, programs and services provided for unduplicated pupils, which are English learners, foster, low income, and homeless, as well as students with exceptional needs, and providing 21st century learning experiences and content. And the metrics used to evaluate those actions are our professional development in line with implementing Common Core state standards, such as Project Lead the Way and blended learning, decreasing our suspension and expulsion rates, providing one-to-one Chromebooks for students, student pupil access to standards-aligned digital tools, and teachers appropriately credentialed. And our third goal, again, is the same with 21st century outcomes and stakeholder communication, where Lammersville will provide the community with high-quality education focused on positive parent relationships, a 21st century educational program, all while addressing a rapidly expanding student population. And Goal 3 addresses priorities 3, 5, and 8. So the actions associated with this are providing cutting-edge technology in classrooms for teachers and students, our communications with parents in the community, parent input involvement, and again, parental participation of students with exceptional needs, English learner, foster, and low income. Metrics used to measure those actions are surveys, parent engagement at events such as district events, school site events, so forth, participation of focused parent groups, and evaluation of our district technology program, or district technology via the Tech Sustainability Plan. So as a reminder and a recap, the Local Control Accountability Plan is a 3-year plan. We are going to be in year 1, meaning 2024-25 will be year 1 of this new plan. Again, it is focused on academics, while we've also discussed some other areas as well. These are the academics that we are using to focus the 24-27 plan. They are last year's goals, so these are the same percentages that we've seen last year. We don't have any new CASP data to put into the plan at this point. And this is the same slide and data that I've shared before, understanding that when we're looking at our data and seeing that Lammersville is significantly outperforming the state and the county, that we do still see that there's student populations that we can support, and those plans are written into LCAP. So for English language arts, here's our focus area. For math, again, while Lammersville outperforms the state and county, we do identify there's areas for us to support student populations in our school district. And the same for science. So as we look at our LCAP, a part of it is reviewing what we've budgeted in the year and then what the actual expenses were. So as we look at our budget to actual expenses, you can see in Goal 1, our 23-24 budget was $38,650,000, where our actual was $42,678,000. And the change or the offset is due to an increase in staffing, our 4% raise, as well as an increase in program and program costs. For Goal 2, our 2023-24 budget was $5,170,000. Our actual was $5,404,000, and the discrepancy here was due to a technology, sustainability, and growth, as well as the putting in a computer lab at Mountain House High School. For Goal 3, our 2023-24 budget was $863,000, with the actuals being $510,000. So here you can see that we budgeted more than the actual, and that was because the technology was budgeted in Goal 3, the expenses were in Goal 2. So there's an offset there with the Goal 3 and the Goal 2. So the LCAP budget overview that goes with LCAP is going to be pages 1 through 3 in the actual LCAP. That is a component of LCAP. It's the budget overview for parents. It's subject to the same adoption, review, approval, and posting requirements as the LCAP. And it does include a local control funding formula, totals for the district, with narrative for budgeted expenditures not in the LCAP included. Any questions?
I have a question.
Of course.
So, you mentioned that this is the first year of the 3-year for the LCAP. So, what were our lessons learned from last 3 years of LCAP?
That's a really good question. Lessons learned, I can say that we are very effective in modifying needs and instruction for our students, and a willingness to come together and find out what we can adjust to meet the needs of those students. What we have put in place as far as actions and our goals have been effective and have worked. We've done little to modify our last LCAP. So when you have an LCAP, you're required to change an action if it's deemed ineffective, and we did not have to change actions.
So the actions do remain the same from last.
Yes. The modifications to the LCAP this year were metrics. The state asked that we give more specifics as far as more metrics related to each action. So we just added some metrics in. For example, the number of students who had one-to-one access to Chromebooks. That needed to be a metric. We couldn't just say that our students had one-to-one access. We had to say how we knew that our students had one-to-one access.
Got it. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Any other questions from the board? Seeing none. Thank you
Okay,
very much.
thank you.
And if I could just add, the folks here in the audience and their teams work very, very hard on the LCAP and on the budget, and then the LCAP budget. And the state has annually adds new strictures to what we're doing, so it gets more complicated to fill out the LCAP. And the people who are learning the rules put down by the state at the county have to interpret those rules. Then they give that interpretation to our staff and every other staff in the county, and then they interpret that interpretation, and it's become a very cumbersome process. But the team in budget and the team in curriculum and ed services have done a fine job interpreting the state's latest incarnation of their own view of what the LCAP is, but it's not really about a local control anymore. It's about compliance. So congratulations to the hard work.
And if I could just add, CSBA is working very hard with our state legislators to rein in not only the LCAP requirements, but all the reporting requirements that the state has for school districts, because they've become very cumbersome and onerous, in my opinion.
Mm-hmm. Excellent. Okay, then moving on. The next, that covered items 1 and 2, Dr. Nicholas?
Yes, and technically 3, because it's just a hearing to hear if anybody had anything to say about money.
So, seeing no comments, I will entertain a motion to close the public hearing.
Move to close public hearing.
Second.
On a motion by Trustee Boulay and seconded by Trustee Pombo, all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? The motion passes with 4 ayes, no noes, and 1 absent. We are back in regular session, and we can move on now to item 7, adjournment of special meeting of the Lammersville Unified School District.
Move to adjourn.
Second.
On a motion by Trustee Pombo and seconded by Trustee Boulay, all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? The motion passes with 4 ayes, no noes, and 1 absent, and we are adjourned at 6:44 p.m.